I'm your host, Fat Dag, and you're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Twitter at Wise Advice. Send me your comments, questions, celebrations to be included as part of the show. Before we dive in, it's important to remember when you're out of points, stop eating points. I'm honored to be your wingman here as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Hello there. I want to start off the way we always do with the accountability part of the show. Been on the road for a little while. Been out in town. Hopped on the scale today. 183.1. It's up a little bit more than I wanted to be. It's in my range. It's at the upper end of my range. So had a great day. Tracking it back down. Going to get it back down into the comfortably under 180. And we'll just keep on rocking the plan. It's all in the head. I feel good about it. I feel really good that, the week that I had came back and really was excited to get on the scale, and I was really happy to get back into my routine. So 183.1, I'll take it. I own it. Moving on. Hey, I want to jump right into a couple awards. Real good stuff here. Open my email. Real excited to see that Paula out of Hershey, Pennsylvania. Paula writes in looking, gets a bravo. Paula's down 30 pounds. That's incredible. It's her lowest weight, she says, since the 70s. Wow. Very cool. Great job, Paula. Real proud of you. You definitely get a bravo for sure. Really excited to hand that to you. And just really tell you how great you're doing. 30 pounds, it just does not happen by accident. You know that, and I really was pleased to see in your email that the way you're doing it is by eating a lot of real foods. You're not substituting in a lot of protein powders. You're going to restaurants. You're doing real good at estimating portion sizes, bringing food home, which, as you know, a lot of us don't do that. When we get to a restaurant, that temptation is there to not do it, and then you included in a lot of fruits and vegetables. And man, you're living in the real world, and you're just getting it done in 30 pounds. Man, I'm super proud of you. So great job, Paula. Keep up the great work. Next up, Judy. Judy out of Clearwater, Florida. Judy also gets a bravo. She's down a total of 38 pounds. She's adding in meetings to take off another 35. So she's done all that online, 38 pounds by tracking online and doing the program online. And like I said, she's now switching into the meeting format because she feels she needs a little more accountability. So as we know, you can do it either way. It works no matter how you do it. It works if you do it. That's kind of how it works, and that's the only way it works. But she said now she needs a meeting, and she's going to start hitting that meeting to take off that last 35. The piece I found the most interesting in her email is she's 74 years old, and she's doing awesome. Now, hey, don't tell me you can't do it, right? Because here's Judy. Judy's knocking it out of the park. Judy's getting it done, and because she's tracking, and she's being mindful, and she's focused, and she's disciplined. So, great job there, Judy. Keep up the great work. Let me know when you get that last 35 off. We will celebrate like you wouldn't believe. So, good work. Awesome there. Got a question out of Bridgewater, Mass. Kathy writes in. Kathy says, hey, thank you. I'm a brand new listener, which as all of us are, right? Because it's a new show. But she says, very new, just found the podcast finally. And she took Wise Advice out on a 10-mile bike ride. Man, I thought that was cool. I was tired just listening to it. So the question I asked for Kathy is, Kathy, hey, can I get the fit points? Not really sure how that works, but it'd be really cool if we could share fit points, don't you think? Very cool there. Louise out of Arkansas, this is a good one here. Louise out of Arkansas writes in and she says, do you have any advice to the Turtle Club? And so we'll define that real quick for those of you who aren't aware of what we call the Turtle Club. And listen, I got to tell you, I got to be brutally honest on this one. The Turtle Club is not a term I'm necessarily fond of. I believe the journey has no timeline. I believe when you set your mind up to label yourself in that capacity, it's almost like giving yourself permission to go at a slower pace. And certainly there are different paces for everybody, and everybody is going to do it at a different time. And we actually have no control over the timeline, right? There's nothing you can do to speed it up and slow it up. All you can do is work the plan. If you work the plan legitimately and work the plan truthfully, you're going to get success. The timeline doesn't matter. We talked about that. It's the trend line that matters, and it's the determination, it's the destination, and it's the direction is all that I'm worried about. So she's asking for advice on the Turtle Club, and what she's saying is that it's hard to stay active and it's hard to stay injury-free as we get older. Well, man, Louise, I got some real good news for you here. This plan, the plan that we're on, does not require a lot of exercise. Now listen, don't get me wrong, exercise is important, exercise is key, but the plan works without it. The plan works. If you track everything you eat, you're mindful of what you're eating, you're focused on what you're eating, and you're honestly working the plan, then you're gonna have success. Exercise in a lot of ways speeds it up. Exercise in a lot of ways keeps your head in the game. Exercise lets you know you're doing the right thing, but a lot of us have to exercise because we want it. Exercise is not a great way to be in a weight loss routine if you're going to continue to overeat. So really what we got to say is that, whether it's hard to stay active as you get injuries and it's hard to stay active as you get older. But if we focus your mind on the tracking, we focus your mind on staying on the plan, making the best choices, doing your best when you can, then you're going to have success. The success has to come if you're following the plan properly. So Louise, that's what I say to you is I would say own it. Move on, track it, keep what you're doing, and focus not so much on what you're not doing, but focus on what you are doing. Do more of that. The things that are working that are successful, do more of that. And that's where you're going to have success. So, folks, I want to transition into what I call the voting section of this podcast here. So, as you saw, I put on Connect the other day. I vote with my wallet, right? The food industry, as we know, they're out to get us. They want everything that we keep in our wallet, and they don't care what happens to our belt sizes, right? They're looking to get money out of our pocket. They're in the industry to make food, sell food, and that's how they increase their profit margin. Now, they know the more addictive they can make it, the easier they make it for us to get, the more sales they have and the more money they make. We can't have that, right? So if you look back maybe 10 years ago, and you look at a gas stations and convenience stores didn't stock a whole lot of fruit. Fruits and vegetables are hard to keep fresh. In the convenience store, a lot of that packaged food will sit on the shelf for years before it expires. So it's a lot easier for them to control their inventory, a lot easier for them to control what they bring in because they're not worried about a high turnover. Well, slowly but surely, as people start demanding more fruit and asking for more fruit, they've realized that a way for them to make money is to sell fruit as well. So nowadays, you can go into many, many gas stations, and there's a basket of fruit sitting by the register. So what I call this segment is vote with your wallet. I went in the other day, and I didn't necessarily need a banana. I had lunch already, but a banana's not going to hurt me, so I saw it sitting there, and my thought process was, if I grab the banana and I pay for the banana, granted it was a little bit of a market, it was 50 cents versus probably 19 is what it would be at the grocery store, but that difference of that 30 some cents isn't going to affect my income at this point in my wallet. But what it does is it sends a strong message to the store owner that fruit is selling. And so you betcha when it comes time for him to reorder, if the bananas are all gone, he's going to order more bananas because that's where he's making the money. And when he starts looking at the rack of all the processed food and the food that's been sitting there forever and it's not selling, well, maybe he orders a little less of that. Because he's in the business to make money just like everybody else, so he wants to make money on what we are interested in consuming. So think about that when you make your next choice. If you go into the gas station and you pick up a bag of chips and you pick up a candy bar, you're sending a signal to the guy who owns the store to buy more candy bars, to buy more potato chips. What signal would you rather send him? Send him a signal to buy more fruit. Send him a signal to buy healthier options, to stock more water, to more flavored water. If you purchase those things, he will be more aware of it. His inventory sheet will show it. And just think what 10 years from now is going to look like. There's a good chance we can put some of this food stuff out of business, right? If we keep on this track, some of this processed food that really isn't good for us, we could probably make extinct. That's the goal. Let's get that done. Let's see how we go. So very cool there. There's a question I want to ask on. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I'm going to put it on Twitter. I'll put it out on Connect as well. Twitter is at Wise Advice. Facebook is going to be at NotFatDag. That's the username I use on Facebook. But the question I ask for you right now, and I want to see the engagement on this one here, is what do you think is harder? Getting back on track or staying on track? Ooh, right? Yeah, I don't know either. It's a tough one. But I want to hear your thoughts on that. We'll put that out there. One last thing I want to Kari. Kari's another email from Kari. Kari gets a bravo for down 35 pounds. She learned that this is a lot more about food than it is exercise. And that ties into what we just said earlier. If we get our food right, we get our mind right, exercise is absolutely important, but not as important as getting the food part right. So one of the cool things she wrote in her email is that she reached in, grabbed one of her shirts, and she put it on, and it was too big. And she thought for a minute, it was really cool to her that she was able to recognize that, and it was too big, she couldn't even wear it. And so that mindset made her extremely happy and put her in the mood where she finally wanted to go out and start working out again. So that's what success looks like. So down 35 pounds, bravo to you, Kari. Keep up the great work. Looking forward to hearing about all your success in the future. Shoot me an email at mike@fatdag.com when you finally get to where you want to go. So folks, that's going to do it this time. Remember, losing weight and getting healthy, it has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goals and go after it. I wish you good focus.